Namaste. Episode 6. I want to take it quickly further so that in 7 to 8 episodes or 10 episodes, I give a complete introduction to the whole stuff. Okay. Rather, you need to wait for the hundreds of episodes. If I can make it concise in 10-15 episodes, that you get the gist of what you can expect from these YouTube posts. Okay. Rest is all details. So, assuming that we had Anna Shuddhi, which is what food you should take, what you should not take, at what frequency, and what frequency of no food gaps. Okay. And assuming that you did all that is required in the pranayama, okay, whatever you have learned from your guru, acharya, okay. And over the years, you have made the cellular transformations in all the soft and hard parts of your body, of your cellular body, and you have got an erect spine. Several things have simultaneously happened. The nadis have opened, the chakras have opened, activated, and it's going all over the place. Okay, and it's giving you happiness, wellness, shakti, right? You're active, enjoying every moment. Okay, all that is happening. Where does yoga fit in here? Because ultimately we all know that this body will be either consumed to flames or consumed to the earth, depending on your cultural practice, when you die. You can die at 60, you can die at 120, and if you are a great siddha, you might live for 100, 200, 300 years. But let us assume that we have somewhere between 60 and 100. The yogic concept, the primary yogic concept that is required here is what is called samana. Sama means balance. You can call it samana is balance. The word samadhi, as I told in episode 2, is about getting the samana all through the system. When I say all through the system, we are just not talking from toes to ankles, to knees, to pelvic, okay, to the chakras along the spine, okay, up to brainstem. Some people will stop here, okay, but it has to go here and it has to be up to this place. You have to get the center, this right center. If this is where your eyebrows are there, you are talking about the center here at the head of the skull. This is called Brahmarandra. Okay. So the whole body, the functioning of the right side and left side, the front and the back, almost like a cylinder, you can assume, right? Whole body has to be, let's say, centralized first, samana. It's balanced. And that will make all your cellular functions work. So it doesn't matter whether a heart is different, which is here, from a liver, which is different from here, which is different from kidneys, which are here, or a vocal cord here, etc., etc. It doesn't matter. We are now looking at very, very subtler, abstract layers of functioning of the body. Okay. See, at that level, nadi chakra level, when we are talking about nanometer diameter order of pipes, intercellular pipes. I have to repeat that again so that you don't forget. And that, whatever is flowing through that from the outside space is flowing. Okay. And it can regulate several functions. Okay. Then you get samana. So when you get samana up to this samat prana, as they say, so they also say samat prana, samana prana, apana, jnana, udana, samana. Okay. Samana is that balance. Take it that with your erect spine, straight backbone, strong backbone, erect spine, your whole body system, the flesh, etc., would have rearranged itself in such a way that it is as if the whole body internals, the flesh and bone, is hanging from the shoulders. And you don't feel it. It's so light. It's just that it's like you hung a piece of flesh on the coat stand. Okay. Just like that. It's as easy as that. But still strong enough to sustain life. it would be difficult, or maybe even become a very desirable goal for people who are suffering from acidity, sorry, no, from obesity. But then, please understand that that is a kind of transformation that this asana and pranayama over a period can make to you. Okay. Now come to nervous system. That's very important. As I said, the spine runs here, and therefore all signals that are going from the brain to the different parts of the body, the nervous system, it is going through that. And similarly, different parts of the body are sending the signals to that. So this is a very coordinated system that is working. If the spine is not erect, it may not be working very well. But then to the extent that it is erect and functional and it's flexible and all that stuff, it'll work. Okay. And if the spine gets caught inside the web of flesh and all that stuff, then you get into pain and all that stuff. That's a different neurology and pain management will explain that to you. But then we must also understand that there are certain nerves which are not coming through the spine. They are coming from here. The cranial, as they say, the cranial nerves. This is called the crane, the crown. Okay. Some nerves directly go and reach here, like the nerves from the eyes, the nerves from the ears, the nose, tongue, and even the vagus nerve that they say that comes from the stomach, which links the stomach brain axis. Okay, goes behind and going somewhere here, stuff like that. Details you can look at cranial. There are 12 types of cranial, 12 sets of cranial nerves that you can look at biology, Google, and all that stuff. So some nerves are not going through the spine. That's what I am wanting to say, which are very important, and they have their own direct. We are so well designed. This human concept, human being is so well designed. So much of redundancy that is available, right? But then there's a nervous system, that the brain that is working here. Okay, there is supposed to have 6 parts. Okay, 5 lobes and 1 lobe here, the bottom portion. Okay, the cells change, the brain functions change when you master asana and pranayama. I'm still sticking to pranayama. I may not come too much. I want to complete this stream before I bring in other schools into this. The objective is that the balance of the being that you are, in terms of the flows of whatever is happening, has to be balanced centrally here. Essential is you bring your spine, but then the brain stem can be, let's say, bent like this. You bend your neck, or even if you don't bend your neck because of your biology, it can be here, it can be here, it can be here, it can be here, etc. Okay. But in the brain stem is like the stem of a flower. Okay. And the flower is on the stem. Okay. So the brain stem holds the whole thing. It's in the central piece, the midbrain, as they say. No, it is all over the place. And the flower has got some, let's say, 5 parts, 6 parts. Okay, 2 in the front, 2 in the back. Okay, there is 1 here. Okay, 5 parts. I mean, you can look at the biology of brain and all that. We need to balance the brain as well. Left, right, front, back. Okay. For which the necessary condition is that you must have a strong, straight backbone. Yeah, good healthy nervous system that is going around, that will take care of everything. Okay. But when it becomes very good, the quality of this process becomes very good up to, let's say, the brainstem stage. Okay, then you are ready for higher levels of yogic practice. The basics are still working, your brain is still working, but it's not very well balanced. Okay, and it's not controlled. You are just firing left, right, and center. I mean, you have been trained to fire, and there are several things that are happening in your body which are triggering within your body, outside body, which are triggering your brain activity, and then it does work. But then you need to first stabilize the right and left, the back and front, and the bottom and the top. Okay, all of them. There's no top, there's only bottom. The bottom portion is the reptilian brain, as may say, very close to the reptilian mind, which gives you the survival process as a basic animal instinct, how you survive, how you respond, instinct, etc. is all mostly here. I mean, I'm simplifying it because the brain function is very complex. Okay. And then the thinking part is here, and so on and so forth. Okay. And if you study the brain functions, you can say how these cranial nerves, which are going directly into this, okay, they have a kind of redundancy as well. The stem, the nerve from the spine and nerve this spine join somewhere in various places, and then they work. Now, in the functioning of nadi and prana, if you can open up all the nadis in your this part, that means I am talking about this part. Okay. Then there's a second order capability of a higher potential of a human being. Okay. Going beyond reptilian. Okay. So coming up to chakras, and we talk about, okay, the Shakti chakras. Okay. Talk about an Agneya chakra here. That's very close to link to metabolism and Agni part. Okay. The Bhakti school says third eye. Okay. Shiva's third eye and all that. But from our point of view, in the science point of view, okay, the chakra point of view, not science, the chakra point of view is a very important stuff. That means here means not in the front, in the center. You have to look at the center, where they say there are two glands, pituitary and another gland, I forgot the name. Yeah. So there are two glands which are there in the middle of the mid brain. Okay. Christianity has a function as a concept around that. Okay. Pineal gland, pituitary and pineal glands. Okay. And if many people associate pineal gland functioning to third eye opening and all that stuff, and it looks like a fruit of grapes or pine fruit. Okay, pineapple, not pineapple, pine fruit. Okay. Okay. Those are ways of associating with what is happening in your brain. But the question is, essentially, if you can create all the nadis open and balance it at the center, okay, then you have got the prana flowing much more. That means the mind is working at a very, very different level. The mind is not only mind is not only thought, mind is just not intellect. Mind is able to sense many things. And that sensing many things, other than what you can sense through the eyes, the nose, the ears, the tongue, and the skin. These are the five sense perceptions that we have. Once you reach that level of able to sense those things, then you are in a different order of being, even in a human frame. Okay. That's come to manas, that is a human brain. The mammalian brain is also there. The limbic brain, which controls largely the controller of the emotions. That also you need to balance. Okay, that's straight around the midbrain region, the emotions. So the emotional fluctuations that are happening are because the flow is not centered around in the center. Okay. Anger, depression, okay, desire, all the 9 rasas that you talk about, 8 rasas. Okay. The 9th rasa, Shanta rasa, is different. Okay. The 8 rasas of Vibhatsa and Shringara, beauty, enjoyment, all that is around the limbic brain, okay, which is essentially a mammalian concept, which is also available in human. Okay. And then there's the human brain, which is the manas, which is the mind here. Okay. How does the mind function? That is where Mr. Patanjali comes in and then says, Chitta vritti nirodha, how to control the mind, how to regulate the mind. If you want to regulate the mind here, you need to regulate the body first. That's where asana, pranayama, pratyahara and comes in. We'll discuss pratyahara separately. It's a very important transition point. Okay. So the key thing is therefore that you need to get the flows, nadis opened up, the chakras working and then regulating the whole stuff. The chakras working will open up more nadis. It's a kind of vicious or a virtuous cycle. It works. Okay, opened up. But then you can't leave it as scattered. You can't leave it as random. You need to regulate it in a certain direction. You can regulate it, and that is where pratyahara comes in. Pratyahara is once you start getting some mastery over this, you should be able to sense what is happening inside your body and then say, if I do this, the flow is happening this way. If I do this, the flow is happening in a different way. If I do this, the flow is happening in a different. You will sense it. Okay. The moment you start to get to sense the flow, that means you have a better handle in terms of regulating the flow because you know what to do. And that is also available with this. What to do is also available with you. That's a basic human intelligence. Okay. And suddenly you will find that you are not spending most of your attention and energy for outside work, but you are now spending an attention and energy to regulate the flow here inside the body. Okay. There is no external feed of senses. There is only internal feed of senses. Prati ahara, internal seeds, internal feeds of senses. And those internal feed of the sense that you get, which is not vision, which is not smell, which is not taste, which is not sound. We'll come to sound a little later. Not sound, which is not touch. But something is happening inside. And that only you will know. I can only make a guess. An outsider can make a guess. Even your guru can make a guess based on his experience of what he has experienced and what he has done. But you can make this thing and you get a better control in terms of how to regulate. That controllership is called Ishwaratvam or Ishitvam, Isha. Okay. Something is happening and you're able to control that, you're able to regulate that. Okay. Then what do I do? Pratyahara is about, people say inward looking, going inward. This is what I'm talking about. You have to get a sense of what is happening inside and you have to develop the skill to regulate that. Now the question is, what kind of regulation for what purpose? The yoga says, right, you have to ensure that your regulation ensures that you get the centering done. You have to get the centering done. In a way they say, kind of streamline the whole thing to go on Ida Pingala and then to Sushumna. That's one school. Okay. Or you just take it and then move the whole Shakti that is going all over the place. Don't waste it. Get it to the Muladhara, get it to each chakra, and then align it up and then take it up. Take it up. Take it up. Okay. And when you align the Shakti, concentrate, you are able to regulate the Shakti along the spine and take it up. Okay. Then they say Shakti meets Shiva here. That's another school. I mean, the metaphor is same. Shakti meets Shiva. Okay. That's where the Kundalini Shakti school comes in. Kundalini is the Shakti that is available, basic Shakti. All of us are born with some Shakti. That Shakti is available at the Muladhara Chakra or the place where the tailbone is. Okay. And then when you strengthen the whole Shakti without dissipating, okay, and then you move up, okay, up and up and up and up and up, and then bring it here, Shakti meets Shiva. But then Shakti is meeting Shiva all over the place because you are starting to sense it anyway. That sense is Shiva. That sense is consciousness, awareness, attention, dhyana. That sense is nothing but that. Okay. Once you sense it, then you are saying, if I do this, if it's going like this, okay, let me correct it, let me do this, and all that stuff. Right? So that's playing with yourself. You want to play with yourself. I mean, there is so much you can do. Okay. And after you master it, you lose the fear. It may look like, it's a big thing, but once you start getting a hang of it, you lose the fear of dealing with that. Then you know exactly, this is what has happening inside me. And you are able to consciously regulate it. Sometimes you do unconsciously regulate it. Because the body intelligence sets to correct itself on its own. Okay. Self-healing is there. But then you consciously correct it. And you consciously take the Shakti from the Kundalini to here. and meet Shiva. Okay, that is yogic kaivalya. When you are able to consciously align prana and all that is outside Shakti to this, and then take it in the center and then bring it here. Okay, that is yoga. So prana is one force, Shakti is a little stronger, more abstract stuff. Okay, Shakti meets Shiva. Shiva is consciousness. Shakti is power, force, whatever we call it. Shakti is your ability to know. Shakti is your ability to do. Okay, prana is basically what makes you alive. Okay, life. You need to have life before you can use your Shakti. Correct. Right. So you move up, do that. The Veda also says that. The Veda also says that when the jiva, okay, I'm not getting into that. When the jiva, which is supposed to be located somewhere here, okay, moves up, carried upwards by the Shakti, and then it exits from the Brahmarandhara here, okay, it attains moksha. So, whatever may be the terminology, whatever may be the metaphor that is used, okay, I wanted you to get the visual picture and what is happening, what could happen inside this body, and what is the basic principle around that. Okay, starting from cellular biology to nadis to chakras to pranayama to panchaprana to dashaprana to shakti pitas to shiva pita. Okay, all this is basically here. That's what we are talking about. Okay. Now we get into higher levels, okay, of consciousness. When you start sensing yourself and controlling yourself, what happens? We'll see next.